Hi friends, I'm Dawn, the Recovery Lady. Welcome back. I'm a behavioral health clinician here giving you life recovery tips. I do a new episode every week. They drop every Wednesday morning. Welcome to the community. I am a newer channel. Love, love, love if you comment, view, like, subscribe. Any support you can give me, it is. I enjoy doing it so much, I just don't know if I'm talking to myself sometimes, but really appreciate you being here. This is a safe and sane community where we at the Recovery Lady are living in the solution. We just don't sit and wallow in problem. We look at solution and how to move into it. So let's go. Today we're going to do the 10 best effective communication styles, the 10 best effective and ineffective with an example of both. Don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself grace. If you're going through and you hear in the ineffective statements something that you say that go, ooh, you could be a good communicator and still be making unhealthy, ineffective statements in your communication because that's what you saw, that's what was comfortable for you, that was it protects you in a way, and nothing else was modeled. This is not based on education. Wars are fought over a lack of healthy communication. Divorces happen. People leave churches. Companies fall apart all because of a lack of communication, because we get so stuck in what we feel is right and we're not willing to learn our part. Because I'm going to tell you something. You could say, Dawn, you don't understand. This really bad thing happened and this relationship broke and it was communication. If you're 10% only responsible for a communication breakdown, you're 100% responsible for your 10%. So it's worth for your own growth and for future communications for you to learn the effective, healthier way to speak. Number one on the list, and this is my all-time favorite, is using I statements. I remember being in a classroom once many years ago, and the teacher wrote, I feel blank when you blank. Let me tell you, when we're talking to somebody and we say, you should do this and you should do that, first of all, we're taking their inventory, meaning we're telling them what they should and shouldn't do. Watch any of these other videos I have on there. I think this is tip 29 I'm taping right now. We don't have the right. We're not the CEO of somebody else. Think about a time somebody has said that to you. You need to do this, you need to do that. Immediately, when you start a sentence with you, wall goes up, defense. If I walk up to a colleague where I work and say, you really need to start getting here on time. You're really blowing it. The minute I see you, that person's not even listening. Oh, you should try this. You should try that with your kids, your loved ones, your friends. Should I? I think that's my decision. I didn't ask your opinion because immediately if you're saying that, is putting the person on the defense. The wall's up and they're not hearing you. I statements are powerful. We can only state how we feel and see things with accuracy. We don't have a right to do that for other people. So, I feel blank when you blank. I feel overwhelmed when you're chronically late for work. I feel overwhelmed when you're late for work because I can't keep up with the opening tasks on the shift. When you are starting a sentence with I, you're saying how you feel. I feel. Okay, so if you're talking about your feelings, their defenses are not going up because you're not taking their inventory saying you. It goes down. I feel blank. That's how you remember it. When you blank, I feel, kind of disrespected. I feel overwhelmed. And most commonly, the other person will say, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I apologize. I didn't mean to make you feel disrespected. I have a habit of running late. They heard you because you talked about your feeling and didn't use you. I want you to write that one down. I feel blank when you blank. I'm spending a lot of time on this one because it is my opinion. This is the most effective thing on the list. I feel, if somebody's like, oh, I don't know, tell your kid, you're always coming home from school and throwing things down. Well, there's so many things wrong with that. You're not cleaning up after yourself. When we go into cognitive distortions, we never want to use the word always. That's black and white. Remember, we want to live in the middle, in the gray. Always. And it's immediate attack on the kid. The walls are up, the kid's not hearing you, they're burying themselves or they're acting out. Versus, look, I feel really overwhelmed when you walk in late and I've cleaned this house all day and I'm at the end of my rope and I feel so disrespected when you throw it down. Your book's down on the ground. And the kid's going to hear, oh man, I didn't mean to disrespect you, Mom. You know, hopefully they're going to say, I'm sorry, I just got, you know, beat up by my bandmate in school. I don't know, whatever. Fell on the way home, failed a test. And when you provide that safe communication, I feel blank when you blank, people are going to reciprocate. Healthy people are going to reciprocate. If you remember nothing else from this video and you got to go right now, you're 5 minutes, 6 minutes is in, remember that. Let's get to that. Is the most important thing I have to say. Number 2, give an objective description. Remember, you aren't listening to me. You're speaking and you want somebody to hear you. You're not listening to me. What's wrong with that sentence? It started with you. Person's defenses are up. They're not hearing anything that you're saying. Saying something like, I feel like maybe you're not grasping my point. Can I re-explain? It's about your feeling and you twist it. That's using a descriptive statement versus an inferior inferential statement. Non-evaluative statements and evaluative judgmental statements. You hear somebody talking, you sound like such a chauvinist. That's putting a judgment, a label. You put the you up. You think you're saying the right thing because maybe the person has some sexual discrimination, but you haven't been effective in your speaking. I know I used a you sentence. There isn't been effective communication there where the other person can even receive the message. The effective way to say it is, you know, I kind of getting the impression you're not seeing women as equal. Do you hear the difference in the softness? I. And then the other person's hearing your feeling and the result of your feeling from their action and is more likely to change. The next one I want to talk about is the blaming. This is when we go off point. So you set a time with your mate and you're going to be, all right, we're going to meet at 6:30. No, we're going to meet at 8:30 tonight. We're going to give the kids their baths, put them to bed. Everybody's going to eat. And we're going to have a time we sit down and talk something out. And when you try to have the conversation, other things are coming in. One of the biggest communication mistakes we can make is blaming the person and not the issue. If you're sitting down and saying, you did this, and you did this, and I'm done. I can't take it anymore. Versus I'm feeling really disrespected and unloved and unheard. And it's affecting my value. Making a declarative statement like that, instead of you did this, it's blaming and shaming. You know, I always say guilt is not a bad thing. Guilt can provoke positive change. Shame is bad. Shame says you're bad. We always want to be sure, I'm just throwing this in, it's not on my list. I want to be sure if there is an issue with somebody and you're trying to communicate it besides the I statements, that you're naming the problem, not the person. Not you're a bad person or, you know, Greg is just such a bad person. No, Greg is really struggling with an addictive disorder and making not the best choices right now. Greg is not making the best choices. We don't label a person that gives them no room to change or to grow or to heal. We label a problem. Just being very, overall, there can be fake compliments. Oh, you're just doing great. You're just the boss. You're just the best thing that ever happened. You know, that can come off as just a bunch of hot air. Making sure that you're saying to someone, wow, I have never seen, there's, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking about this, a colleague I have, a coworker that is on a special project right now because they can't do their regular job. They came back and the person has to like take, I don't know, boxes and boxes of papers, put them in the neatest stacks and scan them into the system. They've been working on it for weeks because that's all their duty release will let them do after an injury or something. I have never in my life seen neater stacks of paper. I think they came out of a box. I think that they came off a machine. And I told this person, I have never seen a more organized, neat paper stack. Like it's mind-blowing to me. The specifics give the person value versus the generalities, which are hurtful. Do you see where we're going with this? And having the effective listening, we're going to talk about this in conflict resolution, where if you're feeling overwhelmed by what someone says to you, that you repeat it back. Okay, am I wrong or am I hearing you say blah, blah, blah? Because sometimes our emotions, and I won't go into this too much, this is part of conflict resolution, don't allow us to hear things properly. Saying to somebody, say there's a task. Say Jane walks in the office and it's a meeting and you're like, Jane, did you get the coffee? It's your turn. You got to get the coffee. And somebody always, you're putting it on that person. They're exhausted. They don't want to carry 12 cups of coffee, even from the Starbucks drive-through. And it's just, you need to do this, you need to do that, and putting it on them. Instead, and then that person is, you've dumped on them, and say, okay, that's okay. And you're passively communicating versus, yeah, I know I did get it last time, Steve, but I think it's your turn this time. That healthy comeback is effective communication. Effective communication is what we say and how we respond. So all of these things I've gone over, you can do both ways. You have to be sure that what you're saying, I know this is a lot, is also effective, is how you're handling what you hear. Also making honest statements. You don't want to lie. No, I'm not busy. I'm busy. I've got, my grandmother died and your grandmother's died 6 times. You know what? You don't owe anybody an explanation. Being honest, saying that doesn't work for me. Oh yeah, I hear you're really in a bind. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available. That's an honest statement. It's unhealthy and people can see through it when we're making things up. These are important things. The main thing I want you to walk away with in this communication module is I statements. The most toxic thing I see people do is the you. You did this, you did that, you should do this, blah, 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 blah. I just want you to visualize the minute the word you comes out of your mouth, a wall has gone up and the person cannot hear you. I feel blank when you blink. You can do it. And give yourself grace because you're not going to be perfect all the time and you're going to blow it. But you get back on there and do it again. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dawn, D-A-W-N, the Recovery Lady. Please like, subscribe, share, join. Not join, I don't even have a join. Like, subscribe, and share, and comments. I've been wanting to do lives, but I really am hoping to get more comment interactions to see if anybody would actually come. There's a real truth. So I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Till next time. Bye.